Welcome back to Rockstar Listing Agent Week 2. Super excited about this because we've been talking for weeks and even months, I think, just about the shift in the market and the change of how listings are becoming more and more rare. So let me ask you something. When something becomes rare, does it become more valuable or less? It becomes more valuable, right? So right now, there hasn't been a time in the last, I don't know how many years, that listings have been so important. So I'm glad you guys are here and taking this seriously. So we left off last week with sort of an intro. Today, we're going to be talking about the grind in order to start becoming a listing agent. I'm going to warn you right now, it's hard. It's not easy. Becoming a listing agent is a grind. So we're going to talk about the activities that's going to take today in order to make that happen. So who right here has been in business long enough or has experience listing 3, 5, 10 homes a month consistently? Anyone? That's what a listing agent looks like. Consistent listings month after month based on marketing and lead generation efforts. So buyer's agents, typically, where do we usually get our source from? When I say a buyer's agent, even if you're doing 40, 30, 40, 50 homes a year and you do 25 listings, 25 buyers, that's still not really a listing agent. It's a good agent, you're still productive, but a listing agent is somebody that's doing listing. And like I said, it's usually 5+ a month. There's listing agents out there that would be 25, 30, 40+ a month in listings based on marketing efforts. So let's talk about that. Let me back up, marketing and prospecting, because it takes a lot of prospecting in order to do listings. So let's talk about our sources. Now, to become a listing agent, you're going to have to do the grind. It takes up to 20 hours to get your first listing. And I don't mean like start today at 8 a.m. and you're going to have a listing by tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm talking 20 hours of labor to get that first listing. So let's talk about where the prospecting happens. But I want to put this on the board because this word right here is the most important word in the English language when it comes to listings. Prospecting. There is not a more important word to a listing agent than prospecting, especially when you're first up and running as a listing agent. So let's talk about this. Why is prospecting important for listings? Anybody know a good listing agent in their neighborhood? Somebody that's got a lot of inventory? Yes. Who's some names out there that have inventory right now? Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Yes. Sorry, I spelled his name wrong, and I got called out for that yesterday. So, who else has got listing inventory other than Lindo?
Jared Peterson.
Okay. Another one. Kim Zeiton on the east side of town, right? We've got DeRochers in the south. We've got O'Neill's team that does fairly well with listings. We've got a lot of listing agents out there with volume. But here's the thing: when we say who's got listings, 3, 4, 5 names pop up. Why is that? What do you think? What's that? Well, why is it only like 5 people? Because that's how few people actually hold any real inventory that actually operate like listing agents. And we think about them. Jay Fletch is one, right? So we think about this and we go, who's actually listing houses? And a few names pop up, but those are the ones that have done it very well. To get started though, it's not just marketing, because with listings, the way it changes is once you have inventory begets inventory. Once you have listings, it becomes much easier to compound that and get other listings. But to get the listings in the first place, that first initial few listings, we got to prospect. But let's talk about the sources of prospecting. How do we do this? One way, geofarming. What is geofarming?
Farming an area.
And what do we mean farming an area?
Sending information to a specific area.
So the key word you said is specific area. Now a geofarm could be a lot, literally a square mile, a subdivision, a building, a condo building. It can be a lake, second home resort area. Geofarming is taking a geographic location and pounding the hell out of that in marketing and prospecting efforts. until you start gaining traction. Okay, that's geofarming. That's a way a lot of people start becoming listing agents. Second, circle prospecting. Define circle prospecting. What is that? So around your listing, you have your listing and you draw a circle around it, and you can have 100 homes, 200 homes, 300 homes, whatever you do, and you're going to market and you're going to go crazy trying to secure other listings based off your inventory in the neighborhood. Second way people are getting listings.
Did you say that one again?
Circle prospecting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you do is you take your house, that's a house,
Yeah.
clearly, and whether it's 100 or 200 homes or 300 homes, you're going to market like crazy around your listing. Why is it around your listing? What's the lead magnet? We talked about this last hour. Your listing. That's your social proof. By the way, that's a word I want you guys to really remember when it comes to being a listing agent is the word social proof.
Mailers, door knocking.
Facebook advertising, events. So we're going to talk about all that once we talk about this. So here's the deal. You are providing social proof when you have a listing by going around and saying, by the way, I've got the listing at XYZ Main Street. Some other seller trusts me enough to list their house. So here's information on the house. By the way, we'd love to have you come see it. Would you like information when it sells? Do you want to know what it's sold for? Do you want information on your neighborhood, what it's going for? Do you want information on what the market's doing in your area? Would you like an RPR report? Would you like a search tool? I mean, there's a million things that you're going to go into, but the point is the social proof you have is your own inventory. Again, last time we talked about the difference between being a buyer's agent and a listing agent. A buyer's agent is really a highly decorated personal shopper. That's what a buyer's agent is. Where a listing agent is a storefront, like Costco. They have the inventory on the shelf. Now your shelf only has one piece of inventory at this point, but definitely you're showing other people, I can sell off my shelves. Put your inventory on my shelves, I can sell it.
So is this like when you send out just listed cards, or are you
That'll
talking
be part
about?
of it. Yep. And we're going to talk about the marketing,
Okay.
but right now we're talking about the method, like where we consolidate our efforts. Open houses, using other people's inventory. Events. So people are leveraging neighborhood events, and that's part of geofarming, but I want to break that out separately because people can leverage neighborhood events and neighborhood causes, such as school PTAs and school boards, getting involved there, local churches, things of that nature. Organizations, events, and those kind of collaboratives, they are leveraging for listings in a specific area. Online, buying online leads, seller-driven leads, to build enough social proof to generate your own. And the big nugget. Facebook. People are building listing inventory off Facebook very cheaply. You guys know the term CPL? So cost per lead. Cost per lead on Facebook is much lower than what you're going to see somewhere like on Zillow or seller lead on Realtor.com. So you know on Realtor.com, you can sign up for their showcase listings, and any of your listings that are on Realtor.com, you get all the leads on them. Every single one. So you can leverage online to build inventory momentum. Facebook is one of my favorite places to do so because when you engage correctly with Facebook, your cost per lead, your CPL is low, but your impact can be high as long as you have the follow-up systems to incubate those leads. We'll talk about that. The traditional way is go expired. Visibles and expired. One of the most time-tested ways to build inventory, visibles and expireds. How to do that, we are going to talk about, because there's methods that work and there's methods that you might as well shoot yourself in the face because it's miserable and torturous. Anybody love knocking on a visibles door and say, hey, list with me? Believe me, we have been in the office. Loretta Sanders is the one that's really good at it. She does it quite often. So there's people that do it very well, but there's people that never get one listing and they door knock. I will share this story, my one door knocking experience I did. My first 2 months in the business, young, 21, told to go door knock. So I just went door knocking randomly to offer CMAs to people in the neighborhood. First door I knock on, I hear this noise. I'm like, I think there's someone home. So I knock again, I'm waiting for a minute and I'm hearing more noise, like it's building, the suspense. Finally, the door opens after like 5 minutes and this little old lady pops out with an oxygen tank and on a cane. And I'm like, can I do a CMA on your house? And like this woman struggled so hard to get to the door. And that's what I had to say. And I just like, that's it. I will never door knock again. And I never did, not once in over 20 years. That was my one experience. So, but my point is there is people that are super good at visibles and expireds. And we're going to talk about that. Redemptions. Does everybody understand redemption law in Minnesota? Anybody not understand redemption law in Minnesota? Okay, so right now, the way it works right now, Kim, you stop paying on your mortgage, what's going to happen? They're going to take your house, but they have a method that they do that, okay? The way that they do it is they call a sheriff's sale. That's a foreclosure sale. After that, typically, not always, but typically there's a 6-month period that owner, you, is able to redeem that property and get back in good standing with your loan. Now, at the sheriff's sale, it's usually the first mortgage lien holder that's going to buy it at sheriff's sale, secure their own interest and make sure nobody else can buy it. So they're the ones that'll bid at their own auction sale, at the sheriff's sale. So they don't always bid on the mortgage amount. And a lot of times they'll bid at market value, but sometimes it'll be even below market value. So if you owe $250 on the house, but it's worth $230, the sheriff's sale comes in at $190. There's $40,000 of equity. We just had one in the office that had $100,000 of equity after the sheriff's sale. I can come to you and say, by the way, Kim, did you know this has happened? You could sell this house today and actually make money. What do you mean? I'm losing in foreclosure. Yeah. If we listed it today at market value of $230, you would walk away with X. Did you know that? No. Well, let's put a sign in your yard. Because you're losing the house anyway. Unless you have the cash to redeem it. Do you have $200,000 or $190,000 in cash? No. Great. Here's how we're going to do it. We'll get the cash to redeem it from the new buyer, redeem the property, transfer it to the new buyer simultaneously, and you're going to keep $40,000. That's a pretty easy listing to sell, by the way. So redemptions are a place people are finding it. Probate. Probate's another one. Anybody know a probate attorney? Are you networking? I would say definitely network. Probate's a huge thing. Anybody know what the senior market looks like in Minnesota right now?
It's ridiculous.
It is. There's 500,000 plus seniors right now in the Twin Cities area. You know what that is projected to be in 10 years? 1.3 million. Probate is going to blow up.
And so the house over in Northeast Minneapolis where their probate and their trust was just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a good way to get in with these seniors who are retired and need to get to the one level living or whatnot is to talk about how are you set up? Are you a will or a trust? We start
Yes.
talking about that. You got the list.
So you actually stole my thunder for my next
I'm sorry.
thing here, but I'm glad you did. Classes. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are all for sale by owners, and I'm going to invite you to a seminar next week, online and in person. I'm going to show you how to sell your own home by yourself, free of charge, without a realtor. By the way, the class is free. I'm going to give you all the dirty secrets that we give and have all the access and exposure that you're going to want. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, great. Show up to the class. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them about all the difficult pieces that selling a house entails, all the labor they're going to have to do, give them all the instructions how to do it, and they're going to say, that sounds pretty hard. Maybe I'll just have you guys do it. What would you charge me to do it? So classes, and what you're talking about is a class on, and this is one that I think is going to be very good, a seminar or class on senior transition. Wills trust, downsizing, empty nesting, moving capabilities. There's companies out there that will come and they'll pack your stuff up for you. They'll sell what's valuable. They'll toss what's not. They'll move everything in transition, because you know what seniors really don't like? Things like, how am I going to move the couch out of the upstairs? I don't have any help. They don't want to ask for help because they're seniors. They don't want to burden their kids, and yet they will obsess about that one piece, that big futon they have to move, to the point that they just will freak out. So when you're giving them solutions on things like that, and you're inviting them into seminars and classes with professionals, the star power isn't you, it's the probate attorney. That's who you're highlighting. It's the moving person that's going to handle the move for them. That's the star power. That's who you're bringing in. They don't really care about you. They care about the other services that you are now attached to. And you're also going to get the referrals then from those providers. You're going to build that network. So that networking in classes is a big way people build listings. Make sense? Okay. Relocation. Relocation is a way to build business. And here's how. How many people right now are networking with agents in outstate greater Minnesota? Love it. Build that network. You know how many people are being contacted in Brainerd because someone wants to move there? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move to Brainerd. You have a house to sell? Yeah, but I don't wanna drive down to the cities. I know a great agent in the cities. I'll hook you up with them.
I just saw yesterday with mom, because I have 2 clients.
I saw that. Yep. So you're right. So we get this all the time in the office, right? We get these people moving across the country. Florida is a hub to Minnesota, by the way. We send more people to Florida, especially the Fort Myers, Tampa, and Clearwater area, than anywhere else. How many agents do you know in Florida? You go to Florida. Do you go to Florida though? Like hang out there?
Love Florida.
See, I love this guy.
So how would you, not to jump ahead, but how would you cultivate that relationship? So I'm gonna go to North Dakota, we're gonna have lunch, start working.
First off, North Dakota would be the last place I network with because it's North Dakota. No, but wherever you're gonna do it.
There's a lot of people down there for work.
There is, yep. So Nebraska is actually my least favorite state in the union. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to find those agents, build a Facebook campaign to them. You can create custom audiences on Facebook and advertise to people looking for networking opportunities. There's 1 or 2 people in Florida that do that here very well, by the way. I get hit on my feed all the time by these people. So build a network. Target 1,000, 2,000 agents. Find out who is willing to play ball with you. Offer them a better than average referral fee. Hell, I'll pay you 50%. I don't care about the listing commission, guys. I care about, can I build the social proof? Can I build listings fast enough and enough to show social proof that they should be working with me? Because you know what? I'm a listing agent. There's only 15 people in the whole state that even say they're listing agents that have social proof that they are. I'm one of them. I sell this many homes a year in the neighborhood, in the county, whatever. Here's my social proof. Do you want to say that to them? No, it sounds terrible. You want to show it to them through your marketing. So those are the main sources of where you're going to get the listings. So let's talk about this. It all sounds great on the board, but just saying when work expires or FSBOs isn't enough. You actually have to put actionable plan together. Let me show you the difference between a listing agent and a buyer's agent. What they're going to do is half the day minimum is going to be spent working on their business. Remember, there's 3 things that make us money in real estate. We talked about last hour in our lead funnel. 3 things. Casey knows it.
So lead follow,
Lead-
generation, lead follow, lead conversion, lead follow.
Yes, lead generation, lead conversion, lead follow-up. Those are the 3 things that make us money in real estate. Buyers are much easier because all the work of the buyer is done on the back end. Somebody referred them, somebody called in as a lead and they talked to you. It's all back end. Listing agents are all front end. It takes 20 plus hours to work with a buyer and get them under contract to buy a house. It takes 4 hours to sell a listing on average. The back end's easy with listings. It's the front end that's hard. So all that lead generation, that's what it's all about in listings. With buyers, lead generation is easy. Sellers is not. You're going to have to carve out hours of your day to do the one word that we wrote on the top of the board at the beginning of the hour, which is what? Prospect. You have to prospect. And if you don't set a time aside to do it, if you don't carve out an hour a day for prospecting, an hour a day for follow-up, you're not going to be successful as a listing agent. It just won't happen. You have to carve that out. And if you don't make the calls, you're not going to have the success. Lead follow-up. Because once you convert them, once they say, I'm interested in searching for a house with you, if you don't follow up, if you drop the ball, you're done. They're not going to be super forgiving with that. Our follow-up in the industry is horrible, by the way. Terrible. Our follow-up in the industry is absolutely depressing. Don't be like everybody else. Follow up with a system and follow up tenaciously. So the next piece that you really need to think about in your prospecting is, what do I need? If I'm going to prospect and I've got all these people I want to contact, what tools do I need? Anybody love searching the white pages? Right? Would you even find them? Are they even in the white pages anymore? I haven't looked at a copy in over 10 years. Is it like, there used to be a book that thick and now it's like that because nobody even has home phone numbers anymore? Okay, so let's talk about the tools you'll need. Here at Realty Group, we have, for our prospecting, the Kohl's Real Estate Directory. We pay over $2,000 a year for this. We charge $50 a block of numbers. So if you said, here's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 addresses, I want phone numbers attached to them, you give that list to us, and we won't have every phone number. It doesn't work that way, but there's going to be a percentage that we will. So what's that? $50. So if you give us a block of numbers, it's $50. With Remind, it's $1 a number, I believe. You can do the same thing with Remind, but once you cross 50 numbers or 50 people, you start going the other direction in price. So
You say numbers, do you get names too?
names, addresses. With the addresses, you get names, you get email addresses, and phone numbers. That's what they search for. They're not all, every person won't have a full account.
Okay.
You'll get bits and pieces.
Okay.
So what you want to do, but this is another reason that we're going to talk about the next tool. Call action. Call action, as people start to engage with you to your marketing, what call action will do is it will give you much more complete data than even Kohl's. Kohl's is a directory. Call action is built on credit card metadata. It's the big brother stuff where they collect all kinds of sources, compile it into one database, and that's what call action has attached to it. So once somebody responds, once those mailings that somebody brought up goes out and they start responding, you know, for this week's open houses, text open house 2, once that text is made, you get full, complete set of information on that person. Email address, Facebook account, you know, blood type, everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. So what you get is more engagement over time. Another reason why these listing agent efforts are built over time. You have to collect and compile data with people. So another tool you're going to need. I'll talk about this with call action. Call action has a single line dialer, by the way. A single line dialer. What does that mean? You can call people without having to call people. The minute somebody picks up the phone and engages with it, it lets you know. So your prospecting isn't dialing. It's waiting for someone to engage with the system, then you pick the phone up and you have a live person on. Another tool that you might want to look at, if you're really good at it, is Mojo Dialer. Mojo can, depending on the system you buy with Mojo, can do up to 4 lines. You can do a 4-line dialer. So as people are picking up, they hear a message, and it's a message of, hey, we're calling you about a free home equity evaluation. Press 1 if you would like to talk to Casey. Now, what are a lot of people going to do? Hang up. But if you're calling 10,000 people simultaneously, you may get people that are, instead of a single line, while they're listening to that message and the thing stops, you got 4 that are consistently going. That's a problem. So you're not going to get 4 people usually at once that press 1. That's going to be pretty rare. But it's usually people listening to messages that will stop the dialer until they hang up. So as they keep dialing and keeps on getting, you know, as it's tied up with 2 people listening to the message, we still got 2 other lines that are dialing. Make sense? Okay. So Mojo, 4-line dialer. Up to. Another tool you're going to need. You have to use a CRM. You will not get by being incomplete with your CRM, not as a listing agent. You all ready? Okay. Next tool we're going to need. Vulcan 7. A current list of expireds. And I believe Vulcan has a dollar attached to it too. But that's your updated list of expireds with contact info and everything, I believe. The Vulcan 7 is about the best they have. Red X is the other one. But Vulcan 7 outperforms Red X. By the way, do you really care about what the listing commission is that you get when you're first breaking into being a listing agent? This is a mistake I see people make. They will hold the line. They want their full 6%. They'll hold the line and not get the listing. If you're trying to break in to be a listing agent, I'm gonna tell you right now, I would do it for free. I would literally be like, you're trying to be a FSBO, that's fine. You don't want to pay an agent, that's fine. I'll do it for free. Why would I want to take 5 FSBOs for free? Why would I want to do that? I want to build the social proof. I want the inventory. Am I going to continue working for free long term? No, that's how we go to business. But I will do what I got to do in order just to get some listings rolling. So I can say, look, I've got 5 listings. Who else has 5 listings? I do. And by the way, when I do my system right and I'm marketing those listings as coming soons and I'm getting energy and scarcity around that listing, it's a coming soon. No, we're not going to show it yet, but yeah, get your buyers ready. We're going to do a pre-listing open house on it for everybody, and that's going to be the night before it goes live, or the day before it goes live. By the time that night happens, you got 3 or 4 offers, you can actually sign an offer and have that sold the day it goes live. If I said the last 5 listings I have, I sold in the first day for 14% above asking price, how great of metrics is that to advertise? I just listed 5 houses. My average is this. Sold them for 14% above asking price on average within the first day of being listed. Is that not the social proof that we want? Another tool we're going to need, BombBomb or any other video messaging center. Personal branding and listing agents is so important. More so than buyers. Anybody ever heard of a guy named Chris Lindahl? Do you think Chris focuses on personal branding?
What's his name? No, I mean, like, what did he name his brokerage?
Nobody would know because it's still like this tiny on a sign, and Chris Lindahl is so huge. So I don't think anybody even knows.
Well, it's Chris Lindahl.
It is. It probably is. I didn't even pay attention.
Oh, it is. That's why his signs relax is super tiny now.
So there should be a survey. There should be a survey. Is Chris either thinking he's Jesus or want to hug? One of the two. I can never tell. No. Chris, here's the thing. I'm just going to touch on this with Chris real quick. Everybody has such mixed emotions about what Chris does. But let's face it, guys. Whatever he does, whether you like the ethics of what he does, like his marketing, his branding, whatever, everybody's talking about him. Everybody is talking about him. There's a lot of mixed emotions about him. And by the way, he got fired. He didn't leave RE/MAX. He got fired. There's mixed emotions over there about him. So the reality is keep this in mind too. I want to warn this to everybody. There's also ethics that we have to attain to in real estate. We don't get to go out there and slam agents just because we don't like them. We got to be careful of that. I'm going to give Chris credit because he has built a brand. How he's done it, whether you like it or not, he has done it. But it's why he's being successful as a lead magnet. How he pays his agents, the ethics of how he does his coming soons and withholds, we can debate that all day long. And that's not at all what I'm defending or talking about. But you have to be able to say that one piece that he's done how he is marketed and branded. And yeah, you could say he's had seed money. You know, those billboards are expensive. They had the money to come from somewhere. That's true. But I've seen people throw money in the dumbest places in real estate. He's made a name for himself, a brand for himself. And that's what we're talking about here. Personal branding. And believe me, there's probably a lot cheaper ways of doing it than billboards because those things aren't cheap. But right now, video content and branding are synonymous and they go hand in hand. If you're not really doing video content and pushing content out constantly, you're not going to have the same impact as a listing agent. You can't be a secret agent and you can't hide behind your for sale signs. Having a for sale sign with your name on it is not branding. It's just not. Nobody's remember who's on the sign. Nobody cares. The question is, are you getting the face-to-face contact? Is the marketing you're sending out there going to be relevant? And do you have stats you can prove? I'm selling houses in 1 day for over asking price. And you know, here's the proof of that in the last 5, 6, 7, 10 transactions I did. That's what sellers are caring about.
Can you elaborate a little bit on BombBomb? What
Yeah.
exactly they do for you?
So BombBomb is a video messaging center that you can do for emails and or text messages. But what it does, it's a trackable platform as well. So when people open it, you can see it, they can rewatch it as much as they want, and then the video shows up, not as a link, but actually as the video in the body of the email. They don't have to click a link to see it. All they got to do is see this video and they hit play. So it has better engagement, much better read rate and engagement. And on top of it, you can send it to a lot more people. You can have a huge audience that you can, you know, put a CSV file together, copy and paste it, or you know, put that together as your email audience and send it. So that way it's not like typing by hand, one person at a time. So that's the idea behind it. Video messaging has a much higher engagement because they can see you, okay? Now, we talked about prospecting and carving out time. And we talked about some tools for that. The dialer and the names and the addresses of the people you want to talk to. If you want to go the route of FSBOs and expireds, you may be a little bit less picky on the areas you go because there might only be, you know, 9 FSBOs in all of Coon Rapids. Okay, there might only be 5 in all of White Bear Lake. So you have to say, I'm going to market to 15, 20, 30, 40 people at a time, 50 people at a time, 100 people at a time. Remind scores is another thing you can do. You can look at sell scores and say, I'm going to market to these people. You have to figure out your audience, but make sure that it's a big enough audience that has an impact. Because your conversion rate's still not going to be 50%. You're not going to list 50% of every FSBO you talk to. Or expireds. And speaking of expireds, what people do, by the way, is they get bombarded when they expire a home online. Agent after agent after agent. But very few agents will go back a year and see who expired then and who never resold. Those are great expireds to talk to. Why are they great expireds?
Haven't been talked to in a while.
They haven't been talking. What's happened to the price in the last year? It's gone up. How about 18 months? Right? Even better. So focus not just on who's expiring today. FSBOs. 92% of people that go for sale by owner are going to list. And most of them with the first agent they engage with. So again, even though they're being bombarded, they don't want to talk right now. They're being bombarded. You're white noise. Okay? That's what I'm saying is you have a different value proposition. If you have a buyer, you can bring into a FSBO and say, hey, this buyer's looking in the neighborhood. I would like to show your house. Oh, this buyer, you know, is not going to buy this one, but again, social proof. I actually have real buyers. I'm walking people through your house. That's a stronger value proposition than please let me list your home. USPs. Unique sale propositions. Getting your foot in the door sometimes because they don't know you, like you, and trust you means that you have to have a special offering that's attractive. Something that's low risk, also known as a tripwire, that's low risk and attractive.
What is it?
USP is unique sales proposition. So in the real estate industry, we see ones that like, you know, list with me and get a free home warranty. That's got a semi-success rate, but stronger USPs exist. 1 day listing contract. List with me and I'll cancel in 1 day if you don't like it. Free smart home tech in your new home. I'll pay your moving costs up to $2,000. I'll stage your home up to $2,500. I will list your home for free if you buy with me. I will guaranteed sold in the first 30 days, or I will sell it for free. There's a million ways you can do USPs that are special offers you can market to get people to say, that's an attractive offer. It's low risk to me, and it has a benefit that I want. So even though I don't know, like, or trust you, I will talk to you about this offer. Free Ring doorbell, smart home technology for anybody that sits down, does a in-person equity evaluation with me. That's a Tripwire. Low risk offer. They get something that they want and they don't even have to list. They just got to sit there and hear you talk. You know which industry does that all the time, by the way, that's in real estate? Timeshares. You will get a free vacation if you sit through my speech. How many do they convert during that appointment? A lot. Or they go to business. Get a free TV if you sit through the 1 hour presentation. Ring doorbell is a great Tripwire because, again, it's low risk. People are never going to go buy it themselves, but they do want it, and they'll listen to your equity evaluation. You might spend $1,000 on those things, giving them away before someone lists with you. But I'll pay $1,000 for a listing all day. No problem there. My point is USPs, unique offers, Tripwires, propositions that separate you from the pack. Because you know what everybody else does? List with me because I'm the #1 agent in the area. List with me because I sell houses. List with me because I've put out a cool brochure and put it on your doorstep. That's not enough. It has to be more engaging, more relevant, and it has to give them an offer of something that they want and social proof. Yes?
I have a question. So I've done some FISBOs, and I used to give them, if I got a meeting, I would give them non-branded sellers disclosure.
Yes.
And someone told me like a year ago that I couldn't do that because they belong to the Minnesota Association of Realtors.
Yep.
They gave away the violation. So
Yeah,
I stopped doing that.
You're not supposed to do that, but you know what you can do. So, anybody have any unbranded open house signs? Those are great. How many people had your open house? Well, we didn't really have an open house. And last one we did, we only got 2 people, so we stopped doing them. You know why you stopped doing them? Because you probably didn't advertise it. Here's how you advertise your open house, and I'll give you 15 unbranded signs. I'll come by next Sunday and pick them up after the open. Is that cool? So am I giving you something of value at that point, rather than please just list with me? Having something of value, some offer of something is going to get you farther in the door than not.
But those sellers.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Again, it's true. You're not supposed to give that stuff away. However,
They loved it. So I didn't have to write them up myself.
right,
This is awesome.
right. But you can also facilitate, and once you sign that facilitation with them, you can give those disclosures. So if they want the disclosures, any other forms and contracts that would be necessary, you can put them in a facilitation contract and let them know, I can't help you. I can't negotiate for you, market for you, but I can give you the tools for X amount of dollars to facilitate, you know? And if you happen to want to escalate beyond that, here's what that would look like. So that's another step in the door. Low risk to them, gives them something they want, and it gets you ahead of the curve with everybody else that just wants to list their house. Make sense? Okay, another one, lead capture. You know what you can give them is a lead capture ProQuest line that we have right here at the office to say anybody that that calls in on this will be able to capture their information as a lead and be able to give that right back to you. Heck, I'll even talk to the leads myself, convert them, and bring them into your house. Think about that, guys, for a second. I'll put the sign here, free of charge. I'll talk to every lead and bring them through your house. If they like your house, great, I'll give them to you. If they want a different house, I'll take them to a different house. But every lead, you'll see a copy of, so you can talk to them too, and I'll do the work of converting them for you. Because you know what, as a seller, and you can appreciate this, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, buyers aren't always comfortable talking directly to sellers. That's why agents exist. I'll help you that buffer and pass them through to you once I know they want to see the house. You can just have them. There you go. Once they see the power of lead capture, that opens a door to other services, and i.e. listing the house. Make sense? So, with that, any questions so far? I've been talking fast and furious here. All right. So, events. This is a big one. And one of the biggest events you can do is an open house event. One of the biggest events you can do is an open house event. Was what is a lead magnet at that point? It's the open house. It's the actual inventory. Now, for those who has not seen the massive open house video that we show, you guys need to watch that like immediately. It's 53 minutes out of your life, but it'll show you how to get 50 to 150 unique visitors per open house. Like I said, I got shut down by the cops, which was awesome. So 50 to 150 unique visitors per open house. It's huge. Sellers seeing that done by other agents? Visible seeing that done by other agents? Are they doing it themselves? No. But here's you that has lines of cars looking like a graduation party for an open house. That's huge. So Michael Hellickson, massive open house. It's on YouTube. 53 minutes of your life.
What is it? Sorry.
For the 6th time, no, massive open house by Michael Hellickson right on YouTube. And by the way, you can buy open house signs, generic open house signs that are branded to you. When I say generic, I mean without your name on it, just Realty Group open house signs. For $1,000, we get you 2,000 signs. 2,000 signs. And they're the ones, the house-shaped open house signs that look like a house, they stick in the ground. We're talking about littering a neighborhood full of signs to a point that it's almost sickening. We're talking about 75 to 100 signs per open. Just litter everything with them. Nobody's doing it. And if you do it, people are going to talk about it. And how to stay top of mind better than being talked about constantly. Again, we go back to Chris. Okay. So that being said, events are huge to become a listing agent. Listing agents are about marketing, prospecting, and top of mind exposure. That's what a listing agent is. That's why they get listings. Because unlike buyers, you're not selling a house to a buyer. You're really a personal shopper that's helping advocate people making good decisions. As a seller, you're actually selling a product, which means if you can't create a buzz around you or energy around you, how are you going to do it around their house? That's the difference between a listing agent and a buyer's agent. Listing agents are marketers. All right, guys, we're going to cut it short today there. I just gave you a lot of information. We're going to do another week that we're going to go into some of the marketing tactics and techniques and go into some of the content that you're going to put out there. Everybody enjoying the listing agent class? Yeah. This is the second week. Everybody's so quiet. I don't know if you guys are waiting to just run away or. Yes.
So I have a listing that's going to be closing soon. Should I do a mailer?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what should I put on that mailer?
What I would do, honestly, is a mailer, and we have them here, direct mail with call action. I would get the call action extension. I would do a just sold in the neighborhood for price, text price too. And what you'll do in that offering then is offer a market analysis or equity evaluation on their house when they engage with that. But more than anything, I would do the mailing, and then I would also door knock all around that house and say, hey, I just sold XYZ Main Street down the road. Did you see what it sold for? Would you like to know what your neighborhood's been doing? Here's a free RPR report. Print out a bunch of RPR reports or print out some examples so you can show people and say, if you'd like your own copy, I'll email this to you right now. What's your contact info? So getting them neighborhood information after you sold something and it's a good sale, look, it's sold over asking price, it's sold quick. When you have those good metrics to show, that's when you want to door knock, pass the information through, and then, ask them if they'd like a copy. But again, you want to do the same thing via mailing, because even door knocking, you're not going to knock 1,000 doors, right? You're not going to be able to do that. And not everybody will answer. And some people want to respond to those things in their own time. So mailing plus is what you want to do. Again, while we talk about carving out time for prospecting, that's labor intensive, all that. But that's where you want to make sure that your first half of your day is all that stuff. And your second part of your day is actually working with the clients. If you structure it that way, you'll have a much greater success. All right, everybody, there we go. We'll catch you on the next one.